All right, let's start all over again. Yeah, you don't. You're saying exactly the sorts of stuff I want to hear. That's cool.
Yeah.
Can you give us your name?
Well, let me see now. Mary Yanke?
Okay, Mary, you've been with Westminster Church for over 30 years. You've worked in our guide program. You've worked in our Brownie program. I don't know everything else that you've done, but I'd certainly like to hear how you feel about the programs that you worked in, the sorts of experiences you had.
I think a lot of it was, I was a Christian education man. And that was when I saw they needed guide program.
Mm-hmm.
We needed something for the young girls over there. You had Cubs and Scouts
Yeah,
for
yeah.
the boys, and we did need that for the girls.
Mm-hmm.
We had 35 girls in Brownies.
Wow.
We had a good group.
Mm-hmm.
And we always, maybe 2 or 3 wouldn't come if they were sick, but otherwise they were all there all the time.
Yeah.
But I really saw a need for a girls group in the church.
What was the need that you saw?
I saw the kids coming and just running around on the street.
Okay.
They weren't doing anything.
Yeah.
And I know that in guiding we would guide them in the right way, I hoped,
Yeah.
and I'm sure we did. I started out, I had run a group out in Tyndall Park area
Mm-hmm.
before that. And so I got some really good leaders over there. And when I came to Westminster, of course, we didn't have any leaders that could come. So my Pathfinder girls from Tyndall Park area, 4 of them came to help out with the little girls.
Okay.
And that, to me, that was part of their training too.
Sure.
And they really did a good job.
Now you said you had some parent volunteers too.
I had parent volunteers. They didn't belong to the church. None of them.
Mm-hmm.
None of the parents that came out. But they would come and do their bit and follow along what we were doing. I had one of my good friends too. She helped me too. But Anna liked to follow. She didn't know how to lead, of course. And me, I'm good at telling people what to do.
Oh, yeah.
And it worked well with the little ones. We did an awful lot of crafts in the group. We always had a craft. We opened with a prayer. We did a lot of singing.
Mm-hmm.
That was another thing I really liked, was the singing for them.
Mm-hmm. You know, I hear you talking about a program that has no connection with the church, but it is the church that's offering it.
That's right.
The church is offering something to the community.
Well, that was when I went in there, because I had asked,
Mm-hmm.
because I was on that Christian education at the church at the time too.
Yeah.
And so we talked about it. That was when we decided the girls would come in. We'd have them.
Mm-hmm.
No, and there weren't very many of the children that belonged to the church at that time, but they started coming. They'd come out on Sundays after that. They came to Sunday school. Quite a few of them came and did the Sunday, because I was in Sunday school at that time too.
Yeah.
And they would come. So it brought them into a program that had everything for them.
Mm-hmm.
And for the parents. I know I had a lot of the mothers told me it helped them to work at home with the children better.
Oh, really?
Because they said the children would come home with things that we had done, and Mom would think that was a pretty good idea, so she would get it going in there, and they did more with the children than what they had been doing.
Mm-hmm.
They would go out, and to me, you have to take children out with you, with the adults as well.
That's an interesting byproduct of the program. Very interesting.
To me, that was a good background on it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I had all 4 groups there. But like I say, I had my Pathfinders. The Pathfinder girls at that time were 14, 15. I think I had one 16-year-old. And it was good training for them
Mm-hmm.
to help them become better leaders. And all of them went into being leaders in different groups after that too. And I'll jump ahead a little bit because when I left, 3 of them were running the groups then.
Okay.
They stayed there.
Mm-hmm.
I was commissioner then in guiding, so there comes a time when you can't do all of it. I had to leave guiding because I couldn't go camping anymore.
Mm-hmm. Oh. Mm-hmm.
And camping is a big part of I like the camping bit because then you had the girls out there and they learned so much. And I learned a lot from them. You know, you learn from children.
Sure you do. You had kind of a community out there,
It was.
your own community.
It was. But you know, there were a lot of girls out there because it was a camp for the different age groups.
Mhm.
We had them in different areas.
Mhm.
So from the little, well, they started when they were 7. They couldn't go to camp until they were 7. And a lot of the counselors that we had were 16 and 17-year-old girls.
Mhm.
Some of them came. The girls, I'm trying to remember. My mind goes, I can't remember names that well anymore.
Join the club.
Those, I had some of the girls from Sunday school that came in to help with, so we got a lot done there.
What sort of activities would you do out of the camp?
At camp, they had swimming, and they could take swimming lessons because we had good lifeguards in that at camp. Some of them, the older girls, the Pathfinders, went on canoe trips. We always, of course, had taps at night and a campfire before we called in the day. Campfires were good because I had the girls running it rather than the adults,
Mhm.
because for one thing, to me that was training for the girls.
Yes.
And having been a teacher, you still bring all that in.
Yeah.
You know, it
Yeah.
works to their advantage.
And you could do lots of singing around the campfire.
We did an awful lot of singing.
Oh,
We
yeah.
learned an awful lot of songs.
Mhm.
Had an awful lot of fun.
Okay.
Went on hikes. Went on a lot of hikes. But it taught the girls how to get along with other people.
Yeah.
That was another real big objective because, well, they still say that Winnipeg isn't very nice to other people, but see, I can't see that. And I did see it, I guess, when I was younger with the girls, because that was one of the things I liked. We had, like I said, we had different, they also had different religions here.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, I think they should learn more about what goes on in life, not just the United Church.
Mm-hmm.
When I was superintendent of Sunday school in Harrow, I used to take my students once a month. I would take the grade 5 and 6 classes, and we went to a different church once a month.
Wow.
All the time I was there.
Mm-hmm.
And I have some of those young people, still young, that still tell me how much that meant to them.
Mm-hmm.
And so I carried that through in guiding.
Mm-hmm.
I also took girls to different churches from guiding.
Wow. Mm-hmm.
Um,
How did the parents feel about that?
excuse me. Hello? Joan, could I call you back? Thank you. Yeah, that was another thing I did with the girls.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't go every month to a different church, but we went at least 4 times during the year. I took them out on a Sunday to a different church. Parents didn't mind.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them, of course, were going to a different church,
Yeah.
so I would take them to that one anyway,
Mhm.
so they would get. It's a better understanding for children to know that there's only one God in this place. It doesn't matter how we speak to Him.
Mm-hmm.
It works for all of us the same way.
Mm-hmm.
Those were my main objectives with the children.
So you were teaching life skills, you were teaching how to deal with other human beings, you
That
were
was
teaching the diversity of people and respect for that sort
That
of
was a
stuff?
big thing, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was one of the big things with them.
Yeah. Prior to coming to Westminster, you were at Harrow,
Mm-hmm.
and you did some work there with CGIT.
I worked at CGIT, yeah.
Okay, it's a different kind of program.
Oh, definitely different.
Would you like to make some comments about that?
With the children that came, it was good at Harrow. It worked really well there because most of them were all United Church people there.
Okay.
The girls that came into CGIT and that were just United Church people.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
And that was one thing I liked about guiding.
Yeah.
You got everything. And you have to have everybody in this world. You've got to learn how to get along. I think we'd have a better world if everybody could see it that way.
I've talked to you in the past, and I've heard that sort of sentiment from you. That's part of you.
Yes.
Yep. Sure is.
I was brought up in a Lutheran church.
Were you?
We lived out in the country. So some of those Lutheran ideas carried through too with the way I brought them up. Except that our Lutheran minister would have been turning over in his grave a number of times. Because the Lutheran Church is very Catholic in their ways. And I loved it when I was young. It was a German Lutheran church, so everything was in German.
Mm-hmm.
That was when I first started working with kids too, and I was a kid myself. And in the Lutheran church it's a young people's. And they all work the same. All of these different groups in different churches and that, they all work. We all worked just to keep the children there, to have them keep coming to church, hopefully.
Yeah.
It's one of the things you want them to do. And to learn that there is more in this world.
Mm-hmm.
Because we never went camping in those days. We lived on the farm, so we didn't need to go camping. And I love camping. And Dan was so happy that I went into guiding because he didn't have to go camping anymore with me.
Oh dear, oh dear.
I got it out of my system that way.
Perhaps we should explain Dan was your husband.
Dan was my husband,
Right.
yes. And but he loved the fact that I was with the children, and he was great that way because he drove us a lot of times too.
Mm-hmm.
I'll call you back. That's my sister-in-law.
You're popular.
My sister-in-law phones me every day.
Oh, okay.
Just
to check in.
She lives on the 9th floor.
Oh, that's cool.
Oh, it's wonderful.
Well, Mary, I've really appreciated having you talking to us about these things. There are big gaps in the history of Westminster Church, big gaps because we haven't talked to people.
Mm-hmm.
People haven't written things down that they've done. They've left no records.
That's right. We never did.
That's the way it was.
Yeah.
And here you are, a living record of a program that
Wow!
Well, you are. Come on, man. You ran a program that functioned for how many years?
The program I was there for, I guess, 15 years.
Yeah.
And then it kept on. I don't know if they still have a group. They did 3 years ago. They still had a group.
They still have the guys there.
But pardon?
They still have the guys
Yeah, I thought they did.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but they don't have. It's not running the same. It's so hard to get the leaders anymore because mothers have 3 and 4 jobs.
That's right.
And
Just
you know
to
what
pay
I
them.
liked about guiding? I didn't like it when scouts were taking girls into their group. Because I think in this world you have to learn, you don't have to always have a man right there with you. And the boys, they don't need to have ladies there all the time. You can have a good time with just girls.
Mm-hmm.
And you can have a good time with just boys.
Mm-hmm.
It's not the main, pardon me, the main thing in this world. That was another thing we did a lot of talking about in the Pathfinder group, of course.
Mary, you're a free spirit. You don't think the way a lot of other people do. You've got a mind that's a lot more open than a lot of people I talk to.
And I don't know why it would be, because I was brought up in that same time.
In what way?
Well, in those days, you were one group.
Mm-hmm.
There was a group here and a group here, but you didn't mix those people together.
Mm-hmm.
If you were Lutheran, you really didn't even hardly talk to the Catholic people. Don't know why. And when I went to the United Church from the Lutheran Church, my minister was very broad-minded from the Lutheran Church, and I was a little worried because he was a fire and brimstone man,
Mm-hmm.
a wonderful, wonderful man. But so I said to him, I said, I'm going to the United Church now. And he said, oh, why? I said, the main reason I'm going there is because I don't have a car. And there is no Lutheran church in our area at all. I would have to go right across the city at that time. And the United Church was close. And I liked what was going on. Harrow Church at that time it was a mission.
Oh, yeah.
When I first started going, it was a mission.
Oh,
And it was about late 50s, early 60s that
that's interesting.
they
Mhm.
went from being a mission.
Okay.
And anyway, to get back to it, this really strong Lutheran minister, he looked at me and he said, what do you do when you go to church? I said, I talk to God. Well, he said, didn't you talk to God in the Lutheran church too? And I looked at him and I said, I thought I did. He said, well, was it a different God? And not in my opinion, there's only one. He says, go to United Church. And that was my upbringing, bringing children up into the world to you. I think that carried through with a lot of it because it helped. And gone on to make something of their lives.
Decent citizens.
You feel you had a big part in helping to shape their lives.
Sure you do. Sure you do.
I love kids.
Thank you very much, Mary.
I hope
appreciate
it gave
this.
you some things.
Yes, you did.
It's hard to remember again.